Right off the bat, there are two important things you need to know about high blood pressure. The first is that it's a pretty common medical condition. To put things in perspective, about 1 billion people around the globe have high blood pressure, and considering that there are just 8 billion people in the world, that's a lot. So it makes sense that this is the leading risk factor for death. But there is good news. High blood pressure, or hypertension as it's also called, is very manageable. And while you can take medications to manage this condition, making a couple of lifestyle changes can also do wonders in lowering your blood pressure naturally. What does exercise have to do with it? Will you still lose weight? Can you still smoke and drink? All of these questions and more will be answered in today's video. Let's get started. Number 8, eat healthy. Ever heard of DASH? DASH stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension. And that is pretty self-explanatory. Foods that are DASH diet approved include whole grains, low-fat dairy products, fruits, and veggies. On the other hand, both the DASH diet and any self-respecting dietitian will tell you that foods that are high in saturated fats and cholesterol are a huge no-no. Those things have a direct effect on your blood pressure and overall heart health. In addition to the DASH diet, you also want to consider reducing the amount of sodium you consume. In fact, reducing the sodium in your food by just a little would do your heart a whole world of good. 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day or even less is what's recommended. However, for someone who has high blood pressure, you may want to get that down to about 1,500 milligrams a day. Now, all that we've said is well and good, but between you and me, making dietary changes is easier said than done. So instead of harping on about what changes to make, here are some tips on how to actually make those changes. First of all, don't do a complete overhaul of your diet. That never works, trust us. We're speaking from experience. Instead, introduce healthier options into your diet one at a time, or at most 2, and do the same for elimination. You want to give yourself enough time to get used to a change before introducing another one. Something else that would help as you go on this healthy eating journey is to pay attention to food labels. There is a lot of useful information you can get just from reading food labels, and one of them is how much sodium is contained in whatever food you intend to purchase. Whole foods are always a better idea than processed foods because the latter is usually packed with a lot of unhealthy junk. So as much as you can, consider switching to whole foods and eating home-cooked meals. Well, if you'd be eating whole foods, you might as well just cook your food yourself, right? 2 other things you can do. 1, increase the amount of potassium you consume. You can find that in certain fruits and veggies. You want more potassium because it can help and lessen the effects that sodium has on your blood pressure. The second thing is to try to cook your food without salt. Now, this could be a tough one because just 1 tablespoon of salt contains 2,300 milligrams of sodium, so ruminate on that. Number 7, exercise regularly. Physical activity and exercise are really important if you're going to manage and even lower your blood pressure. In fact, if you have high blood pressure already, exercising can keep you from getting hypertensive. Now, we mentioned that physical activity is important, and what we meant there is that being a couch potato is, unfortunately, a no-no. You have to move, do chores, use the stairs, or walk some short distances. However, more than that, you'll need to do about 150 minutes of exercise every week. It doesn't have to be something intense, you just have to get your heart pumping. Exercising regularly is as important as exercising at all. Because while exercising can lower your blood pressure, stopping would get it back up. So in choosing your workout routine, try going for something you can keep up with. Number 6, lose some weight. We know we just talked about exercising regularly, but that is so not the same as losing weight. Losing weight has to be purposeful and intentional, and it's really important because the blood pressure increases with weight. Packing on some extra weight also makes it difficult to sleep at night, which in turn increases your blood pressure. So losing that extra weight would go a long way to lowering your blood pressure. As you try to lose weight, focus a lot of that energy on your waistline, because that's usually the culprit of high blood pressure. Now, the recommended waistline measurement varies for different ethnic groups, so your doctor would be in the best position to tell you what to aim for. However, the generally approved measurement looks to be 40 inches for men and 35 inches for women. Number 5, reduce stress. Chronic stress could contribute to high blood pressure, while the occasional stress would contribute to high blood pressure if you resort to unhealthy habits like eating unhealthy foods and consuming copious amounts of alcohol to unwind. So one of the most important things you can do for yourself is to identify the things that cause you stress. But if you've ever done this, you may have noticed that you can't exactly do away with most of them. If you can, that's all fine and dandy, but if you can't, you'll have to find ways to manage them. One of the ways you can manage your stress levels is to plan your day, and to do this in such a way that you don't pile on too much. Trying to get everything done in one day is not only impossible, but potentially very frustrating. So apportion each day only things that can realistically be accomplished in said day. Something else that a lot of people find helpful is relaxation exercises and activities like yoga and meditation. Even listening to ASMR could help your body and mind relax. That thing's all over YouTube, you gotta try it, it's pretty amazing. Do this before you start your day, and when your day is done, it could help steady your heart. Also, allow yourself to have some fun. Be with people that make you laugh. Watch comedy shows, do something you love. Pet a dog or attend an online concert. One more thing, interesting research has shown that practicing gratitude is really good for the heart and general mental well-being. So pay attention to the people that are nice to you and show them that you appreciate them. Number 4, stop smoking. That smoking is bad for your health is no longer news. And it really doesn't matter what you're smoking. Smoking has a direct effect on your blood pressure, and it is bad. Thankfully, your blood pressure will return to normal if you stop smoking. As usual, this is easier said than done. So instead of throwing away your entire supply of whatever it is you smoke, try easing into things by cutting down on how much you smoke per day. Remember that change needs some getting used to, so allow yourself that time. Number 3, regulate your alcohol consumption. Notice we didn't say to stop drinking alcohol. That's because drinking alcohol is not a bad idea. Alcohol is actually a better idea than soda, but drinking too much alcohol is also a bad thing. To put things in perspective, taking 1 drink a day as a woman or 2 drinks a day as a man could actually lower your blood pressure, which is amazing. However, drinking too much would have the exact opposite effect and could even render blood pressure medications useless. So take alcohol in moderation if you already drink, especially if you have high blood pressure. Feel like drinking something after you've taken the recommended amount of alcohol? There's water or fruit-infused water. Number 2, regulate your caffeine consumption. There's a reason some people call coffee jittery juice. We must say that caffeine doesn't have a negative effect on everybody. In fact, if you're a regular coffee drinker, coffee will probably not increase your blood pressure at all. That said, you actually need to carry out a little test to be sure that you're not one of those people that have issues with coffee. The test is really an easy one. Just check your blood pressure 30 minutes before and after drinking something caffeinated. If your blood pressure increases by 5 and 10 mmHg after taking the caffeinated drink, then it must be because of the caffeine, and you might have to cut it out of your diet. However, before you do the cutting off, consider going to your doctor with your findings. And finally, number 1, monitor your blood pressure. As you go about making all these lifestyle changes, it's important for you to monitor your blood pressure. There's something very important as it helps you figure out what changes are or are not working, so that you don't end up beating a dead horse. Monitoring your blood pressure at home also helps you and your doctor identify any potential health risks as early as possible. Thankfully, you can get a blood pressure monitor basically anywhere, and you do not need a medical degree to work it. However, it would still be a good idea to communicate with your doctor before you start to use one. Talking about your doctor, monitoring your blood pressure at home isn't enough. You also have to keep in constant contact with your doctor. Your doctor will decide how often you need to check in with them and how often you need to check your blood pressure. While this might not be what you want to hear, medications might become necessary at some point, and your doctor would be the one to help you decide that. And even if you never need medications, your doctor has to be in the know of whatever dietary or lifestyle change you're making. Finally, having a solid support system can't be overemphasized. You need people that can remind you to check your blood pressure and possibly even drive you for your visits to your doctor. Typically, one would want to turn to family and friends, and if you have either or all of those, you should take advantage of that fact. Not the people, of course. However, if you do not have such a support system, consider joining a support group. There's something about being amongst people that have the same struggles and are also trying the same solutions as you that just boosts your morale. Wondering where to find a support group? Ask your doctor. Comment down below your thoughts, give this a like, share with your friends, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell to keep you updated for more interesting facts, tips and ideas from SmartVille.